So I have a very kind of interesting thing to bring up.
Yeah.
Uh, the
You sure about
overall,
that?
oh, I'm sure. Um, so the overall kind of question is, and I'll kind of like get into the backstory about like why I'm bringing this up in a second. But if a male is attracted to a trans female, like obviously there's a lot of like comments online saying, "Oh, they're gay," blah 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 blah. The question is that person queer, which is kind of separate in LGBTQ, um, so falling under the Q and not the G. Is the person is the male who's attracted to trans females queer?
That's a good question.
So, yeah,
Hmm. Okay.
kinda
But
going
what
into
brought
that.
this up?
Yeah, going into that a little bit, so I was asked, like, "Hey, Jay, would you date a trans female?" And I was like, yeah, like, and obviously this is a very ridiculous question because I'm married. Um, but I was like, yeah, like if I found them attracted and we were clicking, like, yeah, I would. And they're like, well, what if they still had like, things downstairs? And I'm like, yeah, like there would have to be communication there. Like, hey, like I'm not used to this.
Stuff in the basement?
I think more so like driving a stick, which I used to drive a manual back in the day, but
So you
um
you know how to handle her.
yeah, I know how to handle things. I know the hard.
Like,
Um
my dad taught me how to drive manual.
yeah, exactly.
So
Like I learned how to drive on a manual. But um but I was like, yeah, like there would have to be some like communication there and I'd be like, it's gonna be a little awkward, but like it wouldn't be a deal breaker. Like if I'm like if I find the person attractive and like we're clicking, that would not be a deal breaker. And that's when they were like, "Oh, well, you're not straight then." And I was like, "But like trans females are females, so like
hmm,
how does that work?" And they're like, "Well, yeah, like you're not gay. Like no one's saying you're gay, but you're not straight. So you fall under the bucket of like of queer, which I had to like look this up. And according to like P flag, within the community, the term queer has come to mean anyone who doesn't identify under rigid binaries of either straight or gay. It's an umbrella term for sexual gender minorities. The term can be uh, presented as a kind of freedom and acceptance, which allows space for individuality and acknowledges each person's sexuality and identity is different from everyone else. So I was like, so basically, just like a giant catch-all of like, hey, if you're not like attracted to biologically created females, then you could be. I don't know. Anyways, what do you guys think? I'm very interested in this kind of debate.
that is interesting. So, do you want to go first, Nikki? Do you have something to say that you might forget if I don't let you go?
Obviously, I have a bias, like,
Go for
I
it. Go
think,
for it.
like, like, I consider myself a woman. I think if, a guy's into me and says he's only into women, I just kinda like, "Alright, well, you know, it's
Yeah.
you're into me, leave it as it is." Like, I don't really care.
I.
Uh,
Yeah.
I have, I guess, like, me personally, I don't care too much about labels, like, I just like what I like. Somebody likes me, I'm not too worried about what else they like, you know? I'm not worried about their label, I'm not worried about my label, you know? Um, I just think you're kinda engineered to be attracted to what you're attracted to,
That makes
you know?
sense. Yeah, I agree with that for sure. Um,
But at the same time, I'm like, the guy's into me and he claims to only be into women, claims to only be straight, you know, sure,
yeah.
take the validation, just suck it up through a straw. Uh, but,
Yeah.
you know
I agree with that. Like I think I think if you are a straight male and you like uh people that are female identifying, right? Or feminine in nature, then you can still consider yourself straight. If you'd like to claim, take under that, term queer, that's totally fine as well. It's just a label. It's not something that, defines you as a person, right? It's not like I'm the T in LGBT, like QI, I'm just not that's not me. That's not my whole personality. I am trans. That's just one part of me. And I take that label. I could just be like, you know what? I don't want to be trans. I don't want to like have that label. I just want to be me. I'm me, You are you at the end of the day, and you'll be you only once for what we know. So live it
Unless you
how
want to
you
be
want to
somebody
live
else.
it. Yeah. Like if you want to be queer, be queer. Totally be queer. Well, if you want to be straight, then yeah, you can be straight. Like if you're liking, for instance, if you're a male and you like people that are presenting as female, I would consider you straight. If we're getting down to the nitty gritty of things, vice versa for opposite gender.
Either way, like
Yeah.
it sounds like you're feminine attracted.
Yes.
Yeah. Which to me, this was like I kind of like started asking around. I was like, what do you think about this? And it's like really interesting. Like everyone's it's like split. Like half of the people are like yeah, like it doesn't really like matter. Like you're straight, like you're attracted to females, right? And then the other half are like, well, if you find out that they are trans and that's okay with you, then like you're not really straight. So yeah, I guess you would be queer. And it's like I even asked because I'm on like a pride committee. I was like, what do you guys think about this? And everyone's like, oh my gosh, Jay's queer. Yay. He's like he's no longer an ally. He's a part of the and I'm like,
Oh God.
Oh gosh.
okay.
So they took
Okay.
you they took you as advocating for coming out.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they were just kind of like excited, but I I don't
Oh my
really know.
God, something new.
Yeah.
Oh my God, something to gossip about at work. Oh.
Maybe, yeah, maybe that's it. Um, but no, I and it's also kind of silly because like I said, I am married, so it's not like I'm looking for like other partners or anything like that. So like I don't really need the label. I think
Yeah.
labels kind of help you in like the dating realm of like,
Hmm.
yeah, I'm straight, but it's like it's kind of like a silly point, but I do think this is something that like other people kind of struggle with like, oh, like
Oh yeah, that's a good
if
point
I
though.
watch like trans porn, does that make me gay? Like
Mm.
Um, but you made a very valid point. Like when you're dating, the label is kind of a little bit important for others, just to help, you know. But when you're already with someone, the label isn't very important anymore. You shouldn't be using the label to discover who you are as a person. It's just what I'm trying to say.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of like when you go buy like when you're trying to buy a new car and the salesperson's like, "What are you looking for?" Like it helps narrow it down. Like, "Oh, I'm looking for like a sports car or like a minivan."
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
um, kind of like the same thing in dating. But if you're already like married and you're not looking to like add another to the relationship, then it's like doesn't really matter. It's just a label. I don't know.
Yeah. People are obsessed with labeling things.
True.
You're
Yeah.
this type of person.
Yeah, I know some people that like to label things so much they get a label gun. And they label everything. Like they'll label pickle jars, they'll label your socks, they'll label your drawers.
Okay,
It's just
I did
it's
that as a joke one time. Okay.
I was
okay.
like, where is
I have a
Where is this
very
going? Each
I've,
individual sock, yes, labeled left, right. And I don't know why it's labeled left and right because you can put them on either foot, but they're labeled that way.
I have a strange sense of humor and way too much time.
I
Yes, I think we do.
Yeah.
I will say there was I saw like something online that was a dominatrix for like public humiliation, like made their sub like labeled their left shoe and right shoe like on the back of the shoe so like everyone could see like this is my left shoe, this is my right shoe as like a
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
I was like, wow, that's like very subtle. Also, I don't know if anyone's gonna notice, but I don't know. Nikki, maybe you kind of maybe you're this like sadistic dominatrix that wants to label everything.
Oh my
Me?
gosh.
Sadistic?
It's very.
Labeling though. Oh yeah, I'm
Oh.
all about labeling.
Anyway.
I love labeling, except for people. Um,
Mm,
but as far as like categorization in the household for organization, give me a label maker, and I will annoy the piss out of you.
yeah.
Nice.
Oh
But
my
yeah,
gosh.
uh, what do you think in the chat? Comment down below. Do you think males who are attracted to trans females, do you think they're straight, gay, queer? What are your thoughts?